otherwise pretty cozy. It was raining this past weekend, so one thing that I did, like pretty much the only thing I did, was go to my local bookstore and pick up some books. So I'm gonna go over those with you tonight. It's a memoir of sorts, a book of essays, an essay, like a succinct book, and a novel. I'm really excited to share them all with you. So, without further ado, here's the first one. This is, oh, the black almost matches my nails. They're not quite black, and I feel like there's a nice tone to this black that is somewhat similar. Anyway, this is Alpha Betical Diaries by Sheila Heti. The author of Pure Color, the author of How Should a Person Be, and I don't know what else. Other things, I'm sure. I love the spine as well. These colors, the blue, the marigold, it's brighter than lavender, but the lavender, periwinkle, orange, marigold, like, so beautiful. So, how much I enjoy pleasure, how much pleasure there is in just sitting around, writing, eating, and reading. How nice it is to contemplate new things for a change, and how good it would be to do that every day. Just as last night we contemplated the stars, another day it could be a tree. How many experiences are available to us in the nearest vicinity that we do not grasp a hold of, let alone all those experiences at a further distance. How nice it is to have all these lovers, whatever happens with them. How nice it would be if one could actually rely on them. How random life is, how strange if all this was just to end in me finally returning, to Bavel. How strange, as someone would say of a dream, how stupid to go from such happiness one day to feeling such revulsion for oneself the next, from one day feeling joy to there being no possibility of it all the next. How tiresome it is getting older. So, if you don't know, Sheila Heti did a little project that was published, I think, by the New York Times. I'm not really sure. It was published to promote her book, Pure Color, and it was essentially lines from her diaries over the years. For the project, she had taken all the sentences, put them into an Excel sheet, and sorted the sentences alphabetically, and then published them. She did do some finagling, I believe, like do was going to read to me like, when I read the New York Times part or the online part, I thought it was going to be just gimmicky, shticky, meaningless dribble basically, but I freaking loved it, and it felt very beautiful and impactful to me, and so I'm so excited for this book. I didn't realize there's more of an explanation inside, so I'll read that quickly. Sheila Heti collected 500,000 words from a decade's worth of journals, put the sentences in a spreadsheet, and sorted them alphabetically. She cut and was left with 60,000 words of brilliance and mayhem, joy and sorrow. These are her alphabetical diaries. So there is some curation to this book. Like, it's not unaltered, but it's mostly unaltered, and it must be longer than the online project then, because there's no way that that was 60,000 words. But like 500,000 words over 10 years of journal keeping, it's mind-blowing. Cannot freaking wait to read that. That book is why I went to the bookstore. Okay, then I also got a paperback. That's an essay collection. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Having. And ampersand being had by Eula Biss, and the cover is gorgeous. I love a sumptuous still life cover. I don't know why. Like on Bond and some other books. I don't know a lot about this book, to be honest, but when I went to a friend's wedding in September, my other really good friend was there, as often happens, both college friends, and he was reading this book. He read it in a hammock before the wedding, and I asked him if he was liking it, and he said yes, and I value his opinion, so that's all I really needed to know. I believe these are essays on capitalism and consumerism, but let's see. My adult life can be divided into two distinct parts, Eula Biss writes. The time before I owned a washing machine and the time after. Having just purchased her first home, the poet and essayist now embarks on a provocative exploration of the value system she has bought into through a series of engaging exchanges in libraries and laundromats, on bar stools and over backyard fences. She examines the complexities and contradictions of middle-class ethics. The result is an uncommonly immersive and deeply revealing new portrait of work and luxury, of accumulation and consumption, of the value of time and how we spend it. It sounds perfect, and I kind of was going through a bit, and there are different sections in here. So one I saw was called consumption, one was called work. This one is called accounting. See if we can find another one. Thought I just passed one, but it doesn't want to be found. Okay, well, here is consumption. So, I got this book, and I sent my friend a text saying, I got this because of you, and he said, he's still thinking about it, so can think of no better vote of confidence than that. just going to like it. I just know. So that's that little book, an essay. And then the final book I got is actually one that my partner got and has started reading. He has gotten that far. But I fully plan on stealing this from him when he's done, because I have read this author before, just one book called The Left Hand of Darkness, but I really, I don't know what my hand is doing, but I really liked it. And I just trust her as a writer. I think she's so smart and also writes with a lot of heart. That would be Ursula Le Guin. Ursula K. Le Guin. The Lathe of Heaven. We got a kooky horse, a kooky cloud, a mountain. I don't know what this is. A stone. I don't know. And this one has an introduction by Kelly Link, which is never a bad thing. So, I don't know what it's about yet. I only know that I love Ursula. During a time racked by war and environmental catastrophe, George Orr discovers his dreams alter reality. Fearing his ability, George is compelled to receive treatment from Dr. William Haber, an ambitious sleep psychiatrist who quickly grasps the immense power George holds. After becoming adept at manipulating George's dreams to reshape the world, Haber seeks the same power for himself. George, with some surprising help, must resist Haber's attempts, which threaten to destroy reality itself. A classic of the science fiction genre, The Lathe of Heaven is prescient in its exploration of the moral risks when overwhelming power is coupled with techno-utopianism. Fantastic. I feel like that is very promising. My partner said that the main character is just an everyday kind of guy in the perfect way, and that he really likes him as a choice for a main character. And this book is probably nothing like it at all, but it's just, the back was giving me making me think a little bit about Dream Scenario, the movie with Nicolas Cage, the beginning of which I really liked, but overall I found it quite disappointing, so I'll be really excited to see what Ursula